trying to make up for it, so maximize my time and, at least on my ride to work, put a little something out. Just wanted to go into a little bit of to let you guys know, you guys know I do Brazilian Jiu-jitsu. A little bit about me and my BJJ. I've been doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu since 2004. My lineage started with, it's been a long time. And I'm still not a black belt. So, boo on me. Boo on me. That's partially my fault, partially the way of the world. Mainly my fault. Excuses are like, we all happen, they all stick. So anyway, 2004, started my journey in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu under Ricardo Almeida. The Renzo Gracie side. Rolled with that, got my blue belt. At that time, I was working for Department of Corrections. Matter of fact, I just started working for Department of Corrections, and working there was mandatory 16-hour days. So, as you can see, that played a huge role in me training. Had off Wednesday nights, Thursday nights. All right, so fast forward. So I get deployed. Then teaching on Fort Dix, to those who were deploying. So that took a big chunk out of my time to train. I'm training spotty here and there. So I found a school living out in Jackson, who is Ademir Oliveira. Shout out to Ademir, a good dude. Got my purple belt through Ademir. It's with Team SAS. So now I'm, part of that family. Moved away from that area, and we're looking at, I got my purple belt 2010. Look at that time frame. And now, about a month and a half ago, I just got my first stripe on my purple belt. Through Daniel Tavares, Team SAS, same cohort as Ademir. Oh, I left that apart. At the same time, I was training at Ricardo's buddy of mine, Aaron Morris. Shout out to Aaron. I was training under him. At that time, he was a blue belt, and he was under Hoyler Gracie at the time. At that time, you could have a blue belt teaching a belt that's lower than what you were. So all that changed. So here I am, 2019. So I got my first stripe 2018, December-ish. So like a month ago. And I'm just going to give a little bit of my experience, with BJJ. Just the differences in the schools. I noticed that starting off with Ricardo, I started off with him during his first UFC, at the end of his UFC career, the first time. He was training in a gym in Willingboro. Little gym, little pocket, little place. His curriculum was all out of whack. Was the old school curriculum of throw a sheep with the lions and see you're either going to become a lion or be consumed as a sheep. So that's that old school mentality. That's how like a lot of these guys came up. Stuck with him, and when he moved to Hamilton, then his whole curriculum and everything changed. So now he had the white belts with white belts, blue belts with blue belts. Flow drills were a big thing. Very professional curriculum. And anytime I go to another school to train or to visit, I look for that model. Shout out Ricardo. I look for that model because that's what he's shown me. So training at these other schools, I've trained at or visited other schools also. I'll say the respect. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is a real laid-back art. Coming up in Taekwondo, it's very strict on, not the rank structure, being professional, courteous towards your instructor. It's instructor-student relationship. That's it. versus Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is more laid back. You know, yes, you know your instructor's a black belt, but some schools will allow you to call him by his first name. You know, whereas for Ricardo's school, you're going to call him professor. You know, his brown belts are going to be called coach. You know, etc. And that's going throughout that whole, you know, lineage. You know, like I said, that stuck with me. But these are some of the differences I see, you know, throughout schools. Some of the differences also, a lot of schools, especially nowadays, focus on just competition. Strictly just competition. You know, versus, you know, self-defense first, which, you know, that comes with like a lot of other schools, and competition second. But all the jiu-jitsu schools still teach the same thing, which is Brazilian jiu-jitsu. You know, it's the same means to an end, just that you have your little differences. But I don't want to bore you guys on that. I just want to give you guys a little lineage on myself. I want to put a little bit more BJJ content out there. Also, I'm not a black belt, so I really can't offer too much advice. I've just been around, still training, not as much as I should be. But all in all, going from one school to another, you will experience the differences. You know, the little nuances. But in the end, it's all Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So that's all I wanted to say, long and drawn out. And you guys have a good day.
I got the leg. Hook that leg, guys. Go. Fall down. Boom. You're right. Let's rock. Boom. Going straight.